Hi everybody, it's the Ruthless Jobber here. Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 4 of our invasion angle on TEW 9. This is our go-home show for Judgment Day, our first main event or big event, pay-per-view, whatever you want to call it, on this save. So we are building to that. In a pre-show match, K-Quick takes on Scott Steiner. We haven't had any of the WCW guys wrestle on the main show yet because we're kind of just waiting there. They're kind of involved now. They're interfering in matches. They're distracting people there. But, you know, we haven't had any sort of official matches yet. We'll kick off soon. But K-Quick against Scott Steiner gets a decent pre-show match. Scott Steiner got the win in 9 minutes 56 by pinfall. Wrestling of 61, crowd 68, and overall 71. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Second pre-show match, we've got the Brooklyn Brawler and Spike Dudley taking on Sean O'Haire and Chuck Palumbo. They're the current WCW champions, if that means anything at the moment. Pre-show bout, decent reaction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. It's O'Haire and Palumbo getting the win in 10 minutes 12 when Sean O'Haire submitted Brooklyn Brawler. So what do we have here? Sean O'Haire sustained a fully ruptured biceps tendon. That doesn't sound good. Oh well, here we go already. Are we? Yeah, are we already gonna have something here? There it is. And Brooklyn Brawler was at fault. I just hope he's not out for too long. The show opens with Vince McMahon addressing the WWF Locker Room. We haven't included everybody in the angle. We could easily just put every single wrestler on the card, on the roster. You know, every wrestler on the roster into this. But no, just a few sort of main guys and guys that are involved in storylines, and gets a rating of 81. And Vince is basically just saying, look, these WCW guys, they're getting bigger, they're getting stronger. It's only a matter of time now, then they're going to start challenging us properly. We need to up our game. We need to be the ones to take the initiative in this. And it's actually the Dudley boys that kind of step up a little bit and like, yeah, you know, come on, guys, we can do this. You know, if they want a war, they'll get a war. We've already beaten them once. We'll beat them again. 81 overall. Kai and Tai take on the Hollies. Decent wrestling, but didn't have much heat. The Hollies got the win in 7 minutes 36 when Hardcore Holly pinned Funaki. 55 rating for the wrestling, 42 for the crowd, 64 overall. 64 is not a bad score compared, you know, you look at these two here. Excellent chemistry for Kai and Tai. That's really good to see. This was just a throwaway tag team match, in all honesty. Didn't really have anything to it. But, you know, let's a little bit like the other save, really. Although this save's got a few better tag teams. But, yeah, I want a few more. I want a few more sort of getting into that mid-card sort of area. The Dudley boys then cut a promo in the ring. They challenge any WCW guys for a match at Judgment Day. And we've got all the Dudley boys here, Spike included. And this is accepted by Jindrak, Stasiak, and a mystery partner to be decided to be... Yeah, it's a mystery. I won't leave it as a mystery to you guys. After this episode, I will be putting the card on for Judgment Day for you guys to make your predictions. But yeah, for the case of kind of kayfabing it in-game, it's a mystery partner. 55 overall, a little bit disappointing, but then I guess these guys aren't really top of the game in terms of popularity at the moment. Jim Ross and Paul Heyman then talk about a new wrestler for the WWF, Rob Van Dam, and who will be making his debut next. And, you know, Paul Heyman says, I've worked with Rob for many years. He's a great talent. He'll be brilliant for this company. He'll show a few people, you know, how it's done. And Jim Ross is kind of like, yeah, I've heard about him. I've seen some of his stuff. He's really good. Rob Van Dam, unfortunately, his dude gimmick got a rating of poor, but 75 for the segment. And do we get any bonuses? I may receive a bonus when booked to look dominant. I mean, to be fair, I don't see him as a dominant wrestler, but I might have to keep that in our back pocket. So the match itself, he takes on Val Venus, and he gets the win in 7 minutes 42 by pinfall. This, it says here, was a decent match, and it was our storytelling match. 58 wrestling rating, 66 crowd, 68 overall. Yeah, just a debut for Rob Van Dam. There isn't really anything much more to say about this one. A taped angle. This is a promo video featuring the Big Show, rating of 70. He's one of our big stars, and obviously we've got to, you know, kind of keep him relevant and use him. Didn't really fit him into the card anywhere here though, so yeah, give him the good old taped promo. Edge and Christian take on Too Cool. I'm really happy with this match. Okay, 73 overall. A decent wild brawl. Edge and Christian defeated Too Cool in 6 minutes 57 when Christian pinned Grandmaster Sexy. So 59 wrestling, 58 crowd, and 73 overall. Must have got some boosts there. Must have been some bonuses. I mean, quite a few. Lots of bonuses. It appears as though every worker got a bonus on here. Segment rating got a bonus for Edge experience and all. Wow. I don't think... I mean, there's a few penalties as well, but still... No, I'm really pleased with that one. Ric Flair introduces 2 new recruits for WCW. Obviously, the big one there, Kevin Nash, has come in and joined the WCW. And Chavo Guerrero. So Chavo Guerrero would have come out first and no one would have really taken too much notice. You'd have some people, like fans of the Cruiserweights or whatever, oh, cool, Chavo Guerrero. But then, you know, Kevin Nash, the big name there. And then Nash, in part 2 of this particular angle, cuts a promo. We had an angle idea that failed. That was very unfortunate. Kevin Nash was superb working without a script, which is kind of what you expect. 76, yes, Kevin Nash is part of this WCW invasion. Albert takes on Raven. I've always liked Albert, and I do want to push him. So we give him a win here. He takes on Raven, and he gets a win in a decent match in 14 minutes 51 by pinfall. I mean, there isn't really much more to say about it, in all honesty. I was kind of thinking I want to give Raven a win, and then I kind of looked at potential opponents, and it came up Albert, and I was like, no, okay, yeah, I want to be pushing Albert. To some extent, he'll never main event WrestleMania, or at least let's say it's unlikely. But yeah, I want him to be a really solid mid-carder and someone that people kind of respect. And like, if he takes a loss, it doesn't affect him too much because I want him to be, you know, high-end mid-card if you kind of get my drift. But yeah, kind of happy with that score. It's not too bad for 2 recognisable guys. Gene Okerlund interviews Eddie Guerrero, and it's a promo on Scott Steiner. So Scott Steiner's obviously interfered in his match with Rhino. He does get a rematch for the hardcore title at Judgment Day. But yeah, he's just cutting a promo on Scott Steiner. Very disappointed with the rating here, though. 56 is terrible. I thought he would... I mean, both Gene Okerlund and Guerrero struggled when going off script. No, I don't get that one. Wow. I mean, okay, fine, but 56 is disappointing. Big Boss Man takes on Chris Jericho, kind of running out of opponents, I suppose. Not running out, that's the wrong way to put it, but where I want sort of Chris Jericho to be, yeah, it was either someone like Boss Man or it was another main eventer. And until the WCW guys are fully fledged, you know, part of the roster and having matches, that's not going to happen yet. So it was either kind of someone like the Big Boss Man or William Regal, who he's just taking on all the time at the moment. Big Boss Man was the option. Got a decent match. Chris Jericho defeated Big Boss Man in 11 minutes 48 by submission. We did have William Regal come out to ringside, which is why the storyline has advanced with this segment. I'll tell you what, 78 I'm pleased with, really pleased with. I think Chris Jericho can have a good match with anybody. But yeah, I'm pleased that Big Boss Man was part of this. Wrestling rating 64, crowd 67, and as I say, overall rating of 78. Post-match, William Regal grabs a microphone and cuts a promo on Chris Jericho. And then Chris Jericho grabs a mic and cuts his own promo, or I put his own promo. But yeah, and he's just basically saying, he said, you know, you just seen what I've done there to the Big Boss Man. You saw me put on the walls of Jericho, and that is exactly what's going to happen to you at our match at Judgment Day. It's a submission match, and I will be putting the walls of Jericho on you. The storyline has lost heat, which is unfortunate, but getting a rating of 75 and losing heat means it's must be still, you know, a pretty decent rating. And William Regal worked the crowd well. Excellent. This is our main event. Kane takes on Kurt Angle. Didn't really have any build-up for this. I kind of intended to, but just got distracted with sort of other things. We wanted to get someone like Kane, The Undertaker, Austin, or Triple H in the main event, but The Undertaker would kind of use... Who do you put The Undertaker up against? Or it was Triple H, Steve Austin, who both hold belts. I thought, no, let's go with Kane in the main event. And who kind of... He's taken on another main eventer. He's taken on Kurt Angle. I knew we'd get a half-decent score for this one. So we did have... This was a storytelling match. I think that's probably the second storytelling match I've had then, isn't it? I can't remember. So, yeah, but we've gone with that. It is Kurt Angle that gets the win in 16 minutes 23 after pinfall after distraction from Steve Austin. So we've got 79 for the wrestling, 87 for the crowd, and 83 segment overall, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, we kind of had a few people come in here. So Triple H was around, which meant then the Undertaker came down because Steve Austin and Steve Austin and Triple H were getting involved. And then, of course, Kurt Angle being in a feud with Chris Benoit, then wanted to come out and try and even the odds, and he came down. And then post-match, of course, what do we get? Well, we have our good old-fashioned mass brawl to see out the show. So, yeah, those guys I mentioned there. Kurt Angle, I've forgotten to add to it, but he was obviously there. Segment rating of 86, which is absolutely fantastic. Let's see what we get overall. 83. Yeah, got to be pleased with that one. Increased our popularity in 4 regions. We're getting a good, wide, different selection of angles, which is obviously helping. This little issue in the oceanic regions, that's probably down to viewers down there. I don't think there's a lot we can do about that. But no, definitely happy. Definitely happy with a rating of 83. Injury review. He's out for 60 days. He can work angles. He's one half of the tag team champions. I don't think it ruins anything for Judgment Day. And I guess we'll just have to hold off. Oh, wow. I mean, he will have surgery available. We'll see how risky it is, depending on whether we actually take it or not. Financial reports. Yeah, made $500,000, just over $500,000 with Monday Night Raw. Popularity recap. Yeah, the good old Europe and Oceanic at the moment. Everyone else, maybe we're not broadcasting in Mexico at the moment, or even Japan or India. I've got to say, and well, Canada, we're more popular in Canada than we are in the US. So yeah, places like the UK and the US, the pop there is already quite high. So we're really going to have to hit top notch to move the needle in those regions. Okay, then let's have a look at the card for Judgment Day. This is our first pay-per-view in this save. Get your predictions in. I'm quite pleased with this card. Obviously, it's probably not the best I could produce, but at the moment, the way the stories are sort of panning out, yeah, I'm pleased with some of the matches we've got here. So we have got a Buried Alive match for the WWF World title. Steve Austin, the champion, takes on The Undertaker in a Buried Alive match. The Intercontinental titles on the line as champion. Triple H defends against Kane. The tag team titles are on the line. APA Protection take on the Hollies. The APA, obviously the current champions there. The Hardcore title will be on the line as Eddie Guerrero gets a rematch to challenge Rhino for the Hardcore title. We've got a 6-man tag team match between the Dudleys, and they will take on Jindrak Stasiak, and Diamond Dallas Page will be their mystery partner. In a submission match, Chris Jericho takes on William Regal. The Big Show will take on K Quick. Chris Benoit takes on his current nemesis Kurt Angle. The Hardy Boys take on X Factor, and Edge and Christian take on Kai and Tai in the 2 sort of token tag team matches, if you like. So yeah, big card, lots of stars there. WCW not quite there yet. This will obviously be the first WCW versus WWF match in our save, just to kind of kick things off a little bit, see what happens after that. One other thing, I haven't put it on here because it isn't really part of the card, but there will be a surprise appearance from someone. Who's it going to be? Give me your prediction on that one too. Hope you've enjoyed this episode. Please join me for Judgment Day because I think it's going to be, well, I hope it's going to be a really good one. Take care of yourselves, everybody, and I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.